Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Flank. I'm joined by Christopher Duarte, a.k.a. Parasite. We got Patrick Price, a.k.a. Aches. And then, of course, we got the executive producer in the building, Mr. Benjay Nassim. Gentlemen, how we doing? Another long day of COD here on Saturday at Major 4 in Columbus, Ohio. We had 5 matches today. What's going on? How you guys feeling?
I'm just excited for Championship Sunday.
Me too,
We
man.
got a
Me
lot
too.
of banger teams in there. We got, I think, a lot of us expected some of these teams to make it. We got the New York Subliners. We got the LA Thieves. We got Optic Gaming.
Yeah.
And then we got who's the last team?
Faze.
Faze. Atlanta Faze.
We got the 3 teams. I think the 3 teams that people expected to probably make it, and then the 4th one was always going to be a wild card with New York. So we'll get to it later. I mean, today was interesting. We had blowouts. We had some gruelies. We had some almost reverse sweeps. We had some crazy clutches in search. Good grab bag, good variety on. We don't have a name for Saturday, but this nice Saturday at COD was good.
Crazy thing is, every team in tomorrow has made a grand final this year.
Interesting. Can you move your mic?
Yeah, move it up a little bit past.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
Hear me
New
now?
York's made a grand final. Optic's made a grand final. Faze and Thieves.
Thieves.
Yeah.
Every team
Starting to
that's
see
made
some
it to a grand final.
consistency. Starting to see some
I think we
consistency.
call Saturdays. We call them the Saturday Sizzles, bro. because it
Saturday
starts when-
Sizzle,
It
I
starts
like
when
it.
it's getting hot. You know what I mean? Saturdays when it gets hot.
Applebee's, if you're watching, feel free to sponsor us. The Saturday Sizzle segment. Please let us know.
Don't they got the cookies with the ice cream on it? The bazookies, or am I
No,
thinking
that's
of something?
BJ's. That's
BJ's.
BJ's.
Oh man, BJ's.
you too.
Hey, if you wanna sponsor as well, you know what I'm saying? I like the bazookies. But listen, guys, long day today. Obviously, had a lot of matches. We had 5 matches today. Don't want to waste any time. We don't have a lot of time left before we get kicked out, so we definitely want to go over these matches and make sure you guys know what's going on over here. So let's switch on over and let's see what's going on. We start things off. We got the Florida Mutineers going up against the Toronto Ultra to kick things off. And I mean, the scoreboard already tells you a lot about this series. This was a DoorDash challenge. Toronto Ultra took care of business and took the Florida Mutineers out back. I mean, Chris, we'll start with you. What happened today with Florida? Just too much lane power?
They just came out flat. They got out-talented, out-teamworked, outgunned. I mean, you know when Hicksy's putting up like the best stats out of the entire team, you're probably not going to win. No offense to that guy, but he obviously hasn't been the best player for their team. But hey, Hicksy's on my fantasy. He dropped a nice little 1.3, so he got a little stat boost here, a little fantasy boost for me. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah, Slay, what's going on with Florida, man?
Listen, Tom, it's getting to that point where I feel like I'm just disrespectful, and I don't mean to be, but it's like this team stinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they go, look at this. This was a Toronto Ultra masterclass.
It was a masterclass.
All of them
from Toronto.
1.3s. I mean, shit. Look at the map results.
Yeah, they really just
not
couldn't
even
hang with them.
close.
Listen, we're getting to the point of the year where it's write-off territory. It's just like there's certain teams you write them off.
Yeah,
Right off territory.
they're all
like that.
DoorDash challenges. All of them. They're blow it up bowls.
Well, I mean, Ben, what do you think is the main problem with Florida? On a real note, you know what's
They
going on
don't
with
have
these
as
guys?
much talent as some other teams. I mean, it's very simple. You look at the Toronto Ultra roster, you look at the Florida roster, and there's some promising talent on the Florida team. I just don't think that they're organized or more talented than the Toronto team. Toronto obviously trying to take advantage of their 1-4 position they were in, and they came in hot today. I don't think either of the maps were particularly close in this one. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time breaking it down.
I think this is a massive talent mismatch, though.
It's definitely a massive talent mismatch.
Bro, it's a team that went 0-5
Decent,
versus
yeah.
a team that's won a tournament this year.
Yeah, these
Mhm.
guys went 1-4 though. Toronto did.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
I definitely think Toronto went through a little period online where they were just kind of going through the motions. Usually it's the opposite. When you win an event and come back, you have
You're
like
hot,
delusional
yeah.
confidence. You're hot. To them, it almost seemed like they got complacent almost in a way.
Yeah,
They had to
well,
wake
if
back up.
anything, the way the rest of this tournament went for them, this might be a reality check for them. They go back home, they start putting in that work.
By the way,
I don't know if they got. I mean, bro, the biggest issue, and it wasn't a problem in this series, is search, bro. That they went like what 2-8 this stage in search, 2-9 or something like that. I don't know the actual stat. Someone in the chat could put in there, but that was their struggle game mode. The respawns were fun, but they got to clean up the search, and they've got an opportunity to do it. We'll talk about them at the end of their situation, but they move on. Beat Florida. We're going to talk about the next series.
Yeah, what did they end up placing, the Florida Mutineers? What was their final
Top
play?
8.
Top
Top
8,
8,
right? So
yeah.
Florida get a top 8 placing.
but the only
obviously
thing they
they
beat
get a-
was they beat
They beat Vegas, right?
Vegas.
Yeah, that was the only team they beat. They only won one series, I believe.
Florida's gimmick every event is they're just going to ruin somebody's weekend.
And I'm not
Exactly.
gonna lie, Vegas should have won that, in my opinion. I think they trolled it. The 5-2 S&E last map. I mean, Vegas got to close that one out, but
Yeah,
Florida
scams.
got to give it to them. They held composure. They were able to sneak a dub in there, and then obviously today they just couldn't get it done against Toronto Ultra. Toronto do what they got to do. They take care of business
Before we
there.
get into this next one, Tom, I know
Yeah.
we're here at Major 4. Should we talk to CDL before the weekend's over and get us a dark mode on the site?
Yeah, I would love to get a dark mode on the colleague side. I've actually been looking for one, but there's nowhere on here unless I'm missing it. And
No,
unless
you need, like,
somebody
you
in
need to
chat.
get like a dark mode.
Green and
plugin.
white just do not mix.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
love to get a dark mode because that's why I like to switch back because I feel like I'm flashbanging people in the chat. But let's hop on over to the next series of the day. We had Atlanta Faze going up against the Los Angeles Thieves. And I'll just straight up say, I mean, I just think Thieves outclassed them today. I feel like they were just playing the game better. They were staying ahead of rotation. They're super disciplined. And I think that's always what makes LA Thieves just such a consistent team on land. They just play the game the right way. And they obviously play together really well. I think it's always good when you see people like Envoy stepping up. Draza had an incredible series today. I felt like Draza was definitely that guy. Every time you needed him to pop a 2 or 3 piece, he did it. It just seemed like they had delusional confidence playing against FaZe today.
Yeah.
And they made it look easy. I mean, it was a great match. It was back and forth. Some of these maps were pretty tight. But I thought Thieves looked really good.
Thieves just look like they're in actual championship caliber form. I know we've always said that this
Their
Thieves
comms,
team
too.
has the potential to get there, but they've gone to events and they've fallen flat. But like their stage was really clean. The event so far they've been really clean. Draza is my star, bro. That is as my son. That is literally someone that I cannot say a single bad thing about. He's a
Yeah.
great player. He had an absurd series. Envoy had an absurd series. That's the thing about this Thieves team is when they're at this form, any single one player on their team can literally just go absolutely off. You saw Kenny had an off series, and it still didn't matter. This was still a 3-1.
Listen, Thieves actually had the greatest performance of all time, Game 1, even though they lost.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
2,299.
Yeah, that's
to
what I
Yeah,
said.
that's a little, that's a
They
little bit-
smoked
Yeah,
them.
that's why I was
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
damn.
it's a
what
little
the hell?
typo. Nah,
typo.
but I
Go ahead,
thought
Ben.
I thought Draws played really good today. Envoy played really good today.
Yeah.
And we've talked a lot about Thieves, even since the beginning of last year, about their slaying. And they, I believe, still, every person on Thieves so far at this stage is like over a 1 KD. I agree with Chris. They're looking in championship form. I'm excited to see them in the winners'
I think
final.
the difference was that search though.
Yeah,
Like,
I was
they-
just
they
gonna
won
say
that
that.
sneak-
I
Go
was
ahead,
just-
go ahead, Tom.
I
Take
was
reins.
gonna say, just I felt like after FaZe win that first hard point, like going into the LSCLO, like that's definitely a game mode where FaZe is definitely, that's their game mode. That's S&D's their bread and butter. They came out. I felt like they did the hard part. They won the hard point, but then they just looked flat in the searches. And I want to give credit to Thieves because I feel like they did their homework. Seemed like they were blind countering FaZe on a few of the rounds, and they knew what they were gonna do, and they knew what A was gonna push. So I definitely think FaZe, next time they play these guys, they got to maybe change things up. And because people are going to be watching their film. I think they were Ben 20-3 in S&D FaZe. So
Something dumb.
these teams are studying them and watching everything that they're doing. And I know FaZe, they definitely like to keep it fresh. Like they're a hard team to read, but LA Thieves did a good job just blind countering them today and
Also,
countering some
if
of their
you're,
pushes.
if you're a Thieves fan, I mean, you got to feel good about this, even ignoring the results. Just like, Kenny played pretty poor in this series, and like his team was able to get it done. I know we talked about Draza was
He was
frying,
putting the
but-
damage down pretty well, though.
No,
I
I
mean, he
know,
was
but I'm
still
saying
doing
like
his thing.
relative to his teammates, he didn't play that well, and they managed. I think they handled FaZe pretty easily. I think this could have been a 3-0. That first hard point could have really gone either way. So yeah, I think if Thieves, especially if we consider going into tomorrow, if Kenny's on, with the rest of these guys, they're gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, Ben. I mean, any thoughts on the LA Thieves FaZe series? Thought Thieves looked good today, and I think FaZe maybe. I think it helped them when they got sent to the losers bracket. I thought it woke them up a little bit. What do you think?
I mean, I have my thoughts. I thought Thieves was the better team today. They were shooting a little bit straighter. There's a lot. These teams have played each other a bunch. I think the 5th time they played each other this season, something like that.
Mm.
So, Thieves well-deserved winners finals appearance.
Yeah, we know Thieves have definitely been kicking up. I think it was impressive that Thieves was kicking up online. They're usually not the best online team,
Yeah.
but when you see them competing and making plays online, I mean, we kind of expected them to go into the tournament and make a run and make something happen. So congratulations to the LA Thieves. They end up winning this match and going to top 3. Correct? They go to the top 3.
Correct.
So good job from them. And then, of course, after that, we had the New York Subliners going up against Optic, Texas. And
Mega
let me tell
DoorDash
you
challenge.
something. This was the Mega Super DoorDash
Mega
challenge
Super
with
This was the
priority.
fastest series of the But a
Priority
weekend.
DoorDash.
This is to pay $5 extra for the priority. You know what I mean? I mean, this was just quick. I'll say it right now. I mean, Hook is just unbelievable right now. He's continuing what he was doing online and continuing that show here on LAN. And honestly, him and Dan Ghosty. I think Dan Ghosty, I said this online, he's continuing to get more comfortable with these guys. And today he seemed like a killer, man, a slayer. I mean, he was getting kills. He was getting to spots early. He was being that rotator for these guys, dropping trophies. I mean, he's doing all. You hear him in the comms and the listenings. I mean, he's a great teammate, man. I think this guy needs a lot of props. And I know you think really highly of Dan Ghosty, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I won't sit there and take credit for what he's done, but in terms of like the props that I give him, people didn't believe me. I fucking said it. He's a good player. He has the potential to go off. Sure, he might not do it all the time, but I'm telling you right now, it's because he takes a back seat because he just understands the people he's playing with. He just needs to make sure that he's on top of their shit and he's not completely selling, and he knows that this team's gonna make it far.
Hey.
As for Hook, though,
Yeah.
like my God, I was worried about them. Right when they played Boston, I think Dashy literally ultra mega carried, and Ghosty had a couple impactful plays which were able to carry them and win that series for him. And Hook didn't play too well. So going into today, I was like, I need to see a monster series out of him, because if I don't see that out of him, I'm kind of worried, because the way he was playing online was on another level.
Mhm.
And I feel like if they want to win this tournament, I'm not saying he needs to do this consistently, but he needs to be good. He needs
Yeah.
to be on his shit. And he had the mega super series.
Mhm.
So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff for Kyler. Good stuff for Optic.
Yeah, I mean, Pat, what
Listen.
are you thinking here, man?
I told you guys yesterday. Caesar's guys was sitting right there in that chair. I looked him in the eyes, Tom, and I knew this was gonna be an Optic Texas
did say that.
masterclass.
Here we go.
He
Here we
did
go.
say that yesterday.
I knew. I could just tell. Sometimes you get that. You get that
You
feeling.
saw the twinkle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I knew this was gonna be an Optic Texas masterclass. I thought it was gonna be a Dashy takeover originally, but yeah, I mean, looking at the stats, just no one on the Subliners was shooting back. They basically all got ordered on Kentucky Fried, and yeah, Optic looked great.
And I feel like it goes back to like consistency problems. I mean, we just had Kismet on the couch because obviously they won their second series. We'll get to that. But he was even talking about it, right? Some days they get on, they feel like they're a terrible team, and some days they get on, they feel like they're godlike, and they're just like being hard to beat. Why is there so many inconsistencies between with New York? I mean, what do you guys think it is?
I think it's their play style, bro.
I think it's
Like,
play style and decision making for sure. I think sometimes they go a little rogue.
They go rogue and search a lot, and I think that's what kills them. And respawn, it sort of depends, but yeah, I mean, we had kids on the couch after the series and did the interview, and he highlighted that as their like #1 problem. And it looked like they we'll get to their final series, but they came out against an Optic team that with their hardpoint form right now, you got to be good off the bat. They weren't, and they got blown away. And so I guess maybe that was a good lesson for the second series they played later on in the day.
I'm going to be honest, bro. You can't even shit on this New York team. The fact that, like, going into the season, I don't think very many people were going to be like, wow, this is going to be like a top 4 team, let alone this team is probably going to win an event. What New York have been doing and have been able to do, in the stretch of Modern Warfare 2 is nothing but commendable. I think the only blockbuster player on that team as of recent, was always going to be Hydra, right? But every single player on this team has kicked up this year and shown that they can be that superstar player at any point in time. So, props to New York. Obviously, they fell flat in this series, but, like, this is a good team, man. Like, New York lucked out.
They're a good team. I definitely think they need work in S&D, though.
Of course.
They just
Yeah.
make too many solo plays. It's almost like what Thieves was doing last year. Every time they would get a first blood, they would just, like, say fuck it and just start
Tweak.
running. Yeah, they tweak. Like, I don't know why they tweak so much. Get a first blood, regroup, somebody make a call, and do something together. Sometimes they just seem like everybody wants to make a solo play. Everybody wants to do something crazy, where it's like, nah, man, that's why you're finding inconsistencies. Too many solo dolo plays. But yeah, the New York Subliners, they obviously lose to the Optic. Texas Optic look really good. And then on the other side, I mean, Skies and P-Dog, I mean, a .59, .68, .81 from Kismet, .92 from Paco. They just really couldn't keep up. And this is not a bad team either. So to see Optic dismantle a team like this, I think says a
impressive,
lot.
yeah.
It says a lot about Optic. So we'll obviously look forward to some of these matches tomorrow. We'll see how Optic does as they advance into the top 3 as well. But let's take a look at the next one, we had Toronto Ultra going up against Atlanta Faze. We'll take a look at the stat sheet here. This one went all the way down to a map number 5, where Faze ended up going down a few rounds in a map 5, but they adapted, brought it back. Simp adapted, brought it back, started taking over. And honestly, just love the confidence from Simp, right? Go down a couple rounds, you're in a map 5. He just started hitting shit out. I mean, he just started running at him. Take a look at the final stat sheet here. It was a pretty back and forth series. A big series coming out of Slasher, 1.18. Ever since we got back to LAN, I feel like Slasher has really been kicking up.
Funny thing
and
is,
it's good to see.
I think he's been playing probably the best on this, like overall on this Faze team this weekend.
Played really good today.
And
Yeah.
it's weird too, cause like I mean, people were memeing him online. Guy
At
was
the beginning
dropping
of
8 kills.
at the beginning of the weekend, Slasher says he got nothing to prove. He's done it all, whatever. But he's been playing like he's got something to prove,
He
right?
was like he came here with that
Well,
attitude.
Exactly.
I think the only thing he's proven is to himself because he tweeted after their 3-0 on Sunday that he felt like he played battle stage. So I think it's more about for him just being the level required to get this team where it was. And this was a weird series. Like, FaZe came out hot, battled in that hotel hardpoint. It was gritty and they won. This embassy search was pretty clean. You're like, okay, going into Control Expo, maybe they'll close this out. And they got outclassed by Toronto. But Toronto went up 2-0 on that map, and then FaZe came back and lost round 5. Then FaZe played, I would say, a pretty trolly Mercado. We had Austin on the couch, who was, I think, very disappointed how they played that. And then the search, I think, was Toronto's to win at one point. They were up 3-1 and lost, what, 5 straight rounds?
Yeah,
Like,
they lost a lot of rounds in a row. And I
It's
do
just-
agree with you on the Mercado.
Yeah.
Definitely some mistakes. Crowder was really unhappy after the
Chris is
Mercado.
not happy.
Just a lot of holds that FaZe were just early rotating to so many hills, and they were just getting broken. And sometimes it seemed like they were on different pages. One that comes to mind is like a P6 on Mercado. I saw Abizi. He was on a ledge spot watching back alley, and whoever was in hill was kind of playing tight. He wasn't really helping him. It's either you both chow or you both play tight, you know? And I just feel like being on different pages like that is throwing them off
That's
on
been the story
rotation.
with their hard point this entire year. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, they have this terrible hard point record," but in reality, they've only been blown out like once. Every one of their hard points is close, and they just lose in the end.
I mean, yeah, look here, look at this.
Yeah,
Like, these are gritty
This,
hard points.
this is gritty, but I mean, on the other side of Toronto, I mean, they had a struggling stage. We all knew that coming into this major is going to be a tough task for them to make a run. They end up, running up against FaZe, which obviously is always a tough opponent for them.
Top
But
6 and lose to FaZe. I'm not too mad about it after a 1-4
I'm not too mad
stage.
about it, but it's more so like going into the future. I think hopefully this is a wake up call. They need to improve. They Scrappy multiple times has come on the show or like in TeamSpeak during the watch party. He's like online this, online that. Listen, they got to go back. They got to get better at search and destroy. They got to improve upon that. But also, I think when it comes to FaZe, I said it before the series started. The reason this team always gives them trouble is because they legitimately just get out talented in the subcategory. Kleenex, he's really good. He obviously can compete with these guys when he's on his shit. But Hixie, he's kind of mid sometimes. And when you're playing a really good sub team like this, if he's not playing well, it's gonna be hard to win.
I actually like Hixie, though. I feel like he's like a good fundamentally sound player. He makes a lot of big plays for them.
That's the problem though. Whenever you're playing against FaZe, whenever you're playing against Optic, whenever you're playing against Thieves, the fundamentally sound players on their team are also people that can go nuts.
They beat Toronto Grand Final.
Hey, listen, okay, they had their moment, they had their event, but I'm saying in general, those two, like, they have those players that can also go off and play fundamentally sound. Yeah, they won an event, but so did New York. So like, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Wow, they're gonna win another one."
Let me say it this way.
And I'm not saying Hixie's bad. I'm saying
I
it's
just think he's a
hard to
good
be at
fit.
that
I
level.
just think he's a good fit for these guys. He also brought FaZe to a map 5 here, to be honest. So
Hixie's
I
not
think
going to be
they're
dropping
good.
1-1s, and obviously he should get a couple more kills a map. I think the bigger issue for them is when they were winning last major, Toby was going off, and I think he slowed down a lot this major. They got to fix that. They got to fix the search. The benefit for Toronto is that the next event is in their hometown. They played pretty good last time they had an event there, and it could give them big momentum going into champs, which won't be far after that.
Didn't they have the crazy walkouts last time?
Yeah, with the lasers and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
curious to see how they top it next time. We'll be at the event, so I guess we'll be able to see in person. But
Also, I'm just not
Should be
trying.
fun.
I'm not trying to baby the guy, bro. Like if he has to.
yeah,
improve.
he has to get a few more kills.
He has to
imagine-
improve.
I
bro.
just think we got to talk about how other people on the team have kind of shifted their performance. I love Kleenex. I think he's a great player. But like when they were winning last stage, he was like top 5 player in that stage was not
Yeah, he was
that this time around.
overperforming though.
That's the thing is you can't expect them to do that all the time. Also, I
Well,
think
that's a problem.
Also, I think although like their dynamic works a lot of the time, and sure they usually make it pretty far in the tournaments. I think Insight needs to contribute a little bit more in terms of like his respawn and his engagements. I think he traditionally has very low engagements on this team, and sure I know Scrap compensates for that by putting up a lot of kills and a lot of aggression. But I think there just needs to be more of a balance. I feel like a lot of the time, some of these players they have to go off for them to make these runs. For example, I think Kleenex was going off that entire thing, and here we see a stage where he's kind of playing.
He played good this weekend.
He played
though.
good, but I'm not saying he's not playing obscenely
He's not
well,
being Himothy.
right? And it's they're not performing up to their standards. So yeah, they got to improve in S&E, but they also have other areas to improve. To say that they don't is just ignorant.
Imagine they had the first 3 online matches of Vegas Standy on their team.
Depends what kind of stand you get.
That
Yeah.
guy was gross for the first 3 online matches.
And I wasn't saying that they shouldn't improve. I wasn't-
Yeah,
I did not say-
I just don't like the baby people, bro.
No, I know, but I definitely was not saying they were the perfect team. I mean,
Yeah, I wasn't even
get that,
talking
know
about
what I
you. I'm
mean?
just
Like,
talking about
that's
anybody
ridiculous.
anybody that disagrees. Like
Yeah.
we don't baby people out here.
But listen, let's get into the next series. This was actually the final series of the day. This was our 5th and final match. We had the Minnesota Rokkr going up against the New York Subliners. And this is where I think we really saw New York bounce back. I think they got a little bit of a wake-up call. They're definitely not playing as strong of a side, right? I mean, Optic Texas looks a lot different than the Minnesota Rokkr right now. Want to give Minnesota Rokkr a little bit of credit. They made a little bit of a run. They were able to get top 6 at this event. So obviously, they were able to win a couple matches that after an online stage and after some struggles, we just didn't see it happening. But
They capitalized on Vegas shit in the bed here. That's for sure. Because now they got them some breathing room on that 8th place.
yeah,
But I'll be honest with you guys, I'm still not that impressed by Rokkr. I still think they're on the downward trajectory, as Ben would like to say. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't see enough this weekend that was like, oh, Rocker's turning it around.
Well,
they have moments. They have moments.
They went last
know?
map with I think what was it? Was it LAG and Surge? Did they play LAG?
They did. They were tight series. I forgot exactly who did they play.
was Surge for
There's so
sure.
many games, bro. I can't even remember who the hell
It was
played
Surge
who.
for sure. I don't remember who the
I don't
other
know who they
series was.
played before.
But I'm pretty sure they were
London?
both like.
They play London?
Oh no, they beat London. Yeah.
Yeah, they beat
so
London.
yeah,
They
never
they
mind.
did beat London. Yeah.
Never mind. Either way, they still lost that Surge series.
Yeah.
Like plain simple. And they would have bowed out like top 8, only beating
Only
London.
beating London, yeah.
Listen, I'm happy that they were able to come here and like beat Surge and get some points under their belt, but I'm still not sold on the roster, obviously. I do think they were a little bit more competitive in the series prior, but
I actually thought they had a
They-
chance here. They win the S&D. They were able to tie the series up at 1, and then going into the LSE, I mean, they're 10-0 on that map. That was a map that Rokkr has not lost this year yet. And they ended up losing that one.
And I think they might have
Subliners
tilted a
3-1.
little after that.
You think
based on
so?
how
You
the
think they tilted?
I mean, they got ran on the beginning of the
I think they misvetoed, bro. I'm pretty sure they've won a lot of like Mercados in their online stages. They played every time they played. I feel
New
like
York's
they've been
good at
pretty good at.
Mercado, though. Like
They don't, but the New York don't play it often. You square up with them on a fortress.
I don't know.
Like,
That's
look at the
Hodges'
ma- like,
playground, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. I
uh,
maybe would have taken Mercado. Look, I think for Rokkr, they accomplished something this weekend, which is they put some distance between them and Vegas. Like
two online
you're
matches.
keeping yourself alive for the end of the season. You've got one stage now to pull away and get it done. You know Vegas got a hard schedule. There's a lot of things this Rokkr team needs to work on, and I'm just concerned that the at the sub and the flex level that they don't have the talent to match. Like I think the 3 top dogs right now, which is Faze, Thieves.
Wait.
and
It's
Optic.
not just at the sub level. I would argue that Rocker's best player is still worse than Faze, Optic, Thieves, and Toronto. Well, I guess not Toronto now with Hixie, but those 3, Faze, Optic, and Thieves. I would argue that Rocker's best player is still worse than those 3 teams.
I mean,
worst player.
Right now,
I
yeah.
would agree with you, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're not fighting for those spots. They're fighting for top 8.
Yeah, but I
So-
mean, like when we talk about as we get to the end of the year, like when
I don't know if they're
most
going to be able to
important
make
tournament
much
comes
much
around.
improvements on that area. I wanted to just ask you guys one more question about Rokkr before we move forward. But what do you guys think of Fame's debut here? Because I think
He had his
although
moments.
although they
I
didn't
don't think he's the problem.
although they didn't place or they didn't like play too well against some of the better teams, I think Fame was a big reason why they were able to actually at least win a couple series or win a couple maps. I think he was actually really good for this team. I think he's a good player. I just want to show him some love because he might they might be struggling. He might got put in a non-ideal situation,
it
but I
would've been
think
the same thing.
I think he's good.
I think even if they had attached, we would have got the exact same results.
I mean,
potentially.
potentially,
Bro,
but
they would have beat London with attached.
I'm saying potentially,
That
but I
surge
think
series they
Fame
should have
played.
won regardless. And
I mean,
I don't think Fame won them the surge series.
I think Fame. I think Fame
I
is.
think Fame
I
played
think
really
Fame is
good in the
good,
searches.
and I
I
would
said the
love.
surge series.
Oh.
Here's the thing with Rokkr is like, I would love to see Fame on a sub. Like, I just don't. This Fame Mania Earth
where
thing
he
feels like
started.
the biggest Band-Aid thing of all time.
I talked to
like,
Fame, and Fame basically said that he prefers to be a flex simply because he ran a sub because he was in challengers.
Yeah.
Well,
And
who wouldn't want to be a flex? I mean, come on, everybody would want
But
to be
he also
flex.
said he basically ran it because he was in challengers, and yeah, he can run a sub against challengers. He's basically making it seem like it might be a taller task for him to run it against obviously some of the best SMGs in the league, but obviously that's up to other people to decide, not me. But that's just what it seemed like.
I mean, I don't think Fame was the problem for them.
I don't think so either.
You
I think
know.
he's fine.
But I think he's a good player. But yeah, I mean, I think we should take a look at tomorrow's matches because we got some bangers tomorrow. We got LA Thieves kicking things off against Optic
Let me
Texas
go first,
in
Tom.
the winners final.
Because I think
Pat,
I'm going to have
go
a
ahead.
differing opinion of you guys.
Okay.
So I actually believe we're going to get something that we haven't seen before. We're going to get an LA Thieves 3-0 masterclass
Dude,
on Optic Texas.
no way.
Wow.
You
And
really
the
believe
reason-
that? Do you really believe
Yeah,
that?
and
He
the
said
reason
this in the reverse tweet.
the
by way.
reason
Okay.
the reason I think that because I predicted this my winter final. Chris can
You did predict this as the winner
I,
final.
both
I
did.
think
We
I
both
think
did.
a lot of people.
We
probably
predicted
this.
this
I
as
think
the
a lot
winner
of people
final.
predicted the winners final.
and I think this is gonna be like an LA Thieves. All of them show up, like all four of them firing on all cylinders. And I think if we don't get a series out of Huke like we've been getting, then this team is gonna be smoked. And I think it's gonna be a 3-0, and it's gonna be a DoorDash challenge.
What do you guys think? Do you agree with that? I mean, Chris,
I
do you agree with
think
that or
the
no?
first map of this series is everything. I got Optic winning, but I think the first map of this series is everything. Optic have not been punched in the mouth this split. They haven't. That first map is always going to them, bro. They've won every single one of those first hard points. If Thieves can take it to them one hard point, the first one, it might shake them a little bit. So I think this map. I think this series will come down to that first map to see who's able to kind of like scare the other team. But I still got Optic taking it.
Ben, who do you got?
I got Chris. Map 1 is huge. I got Optic 3-1, but if Thieves take map 1, this series gets very interesting. But I'm expecting Optic to win map 1, Thieves to win map 2, and Optic to win 3 and 4.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect anybody to just come out in 3-0. I think this is going to be a grueler. I could see this going back and forth slightly.
5.
I could see it going like maybe like map 5, maybe a 3-1, but maybe 3-1 or 3-2. But I just think the way Optic's been playing, and it's not just them winning, it's the way they're winning. Like, they're just absolutely dismantling teams. Like, they're just smoking them. Like, it doesn't even look like they're close. And I feel like they're all in the form of their lives. Like, I just feel like they're all confident. They're all feeling good. Obviously, last event, I feel like that's one that they probably thought they let go, right? Even watching the process and seeing the way they reacted, they felt like that event was theirs to win. So I just feel like the way that they've looked throughout the whole entire stage, both online and at the event, I just don't know if LA Thieves is going to be able to take them down. But regardless, it's obviously two incredible teams, right? And LA Thieves,
So
today.
you all got Optic then?
I got Optic.
I got Optic,
I got
yeah.
Optic in this one. I feel like it's hard to bet against them, Pat.
It's gonna
hard.
feel real good on the couch tomorrow. Ben, I will be here for this one, and it's gonna feel real good letting you guys
you better
know
be here
that
for
I
every
was
series.
just early. I was just early on this one.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be really interesting, and then we got the New York Subliners going up against Atlanta Faze. Personally, I'm going to go with Faze in this one. I think New York, they're a great team, but when they play against those top teams, I feel like that's where their inconsistency problems come in, and I feel like it's just a decision-making thing. Can New York come out and beat Faze? Yeah, they have the talent to do it. If they're on their A game and they're working well together, I think they can. But I just don't think it's easy to do that against a team like Atlanta. I think Atlanta Faze has been looking pretty good, especially looking at them at that last series. It seemed that they got a little bit of confidence back, and seeing their reaction and seeing Crowder all pissed off, I know for a fact they're probably up there now talking and making sure that they're getting their shit ready for tomorrow. I just think they're going to come out different tomorrow. I got Atlanta Faze 3-1 over the New York Subliners. Chris, who do you got?
These are actually pretty similar to our picks, Pat, when we did our
I
bracket.
know. We might have a perfect bracket. We gotta check that.
I got Faze, but I do think Subliners can take the fight to him and beat him. It's just more so Faze has been tested a lot more here. They've obviously had a series against Thieves, and then they obviously had a absolute grueler series against the Ultra. So Faze has been tested a little bit more than the Subliners have. So I think that's going to be able to push them forward in this series.
Pat, who do you got?
This is gonna be a super fast series.
Another
FaZe-
masterclass?
Yeah, FaZe is gonna have to come out here with a ton of fire, because I mean, think about it from their perspective. Like they gotta catch fire tomorrow, and this is a good team to do it against because that if they're gonna make a loser bracket run, they got to go through Thieves or Optic. So I think they're gonna come out super hot, firing on all cylinders, super hyped up, and I think they're gonna 3-0 the Subliners.
Ben, who do you got?
I got a 3-1 Faze. I can't trust New York in the searches, and I feel like Faze will get some momentum there, and it will set up a very interesting top 3 of Faze, Thieves, in Optic Texas. Also great for viewership, but having those 3 left in. So.
Yeah, no, we got 4, honestly, 4 big organizations.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations to LA Thieves, Optic Texas, New York Subliners, and Atlanta Faze. That is your top 4.
What do you guys have winning it
going
tomorrow?
into championship Sunday?
Thieves.
Who do you guys have winning it tomorrow?
Thieves win it all.
I'll go with Optic, but would love to see my Faze boys take home the dub.
Has any team won one of these events from losers? Toronto came from winners. Faze came from winners. New York came from winners? I don't think so, right?
New York came from winners.
New York was from winners.
I don't remember.
So yeah, everybody's from winners.
Who do you got, Ben?
I got Optic finally getting the dub.
you
that's
think
what I
so?
got,
You think
yeah.
they're finally gonna do it?
So you all got Optic?
I got Dan Ghosty getting his first chip, baby.
All
I don't know, it's just the way they're beating teams. You got Thieves?
I got Thieves.
All
Winning
right.
it all.
We'll see what happens tomorrow, guys. It's been a long day, so we're definitely gonna head on out of here and get some rest for tomorrow. But as always, guys, just thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to go to Stallions.club to check out all the merchandise that we got going over there. Go follow at the flank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job as always. Like, comment, and subscribe
about
if you're
Micro
watching
Center,
on
Tom?
YouTube. I'm getting down, so I'm getting there, man. I'm
Sorry.
getting there.
My bad.
Man, now my whole flow's off. Chat
Sorry,
damn.
my bad.
You know what I'm saying? Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Anchor.fm/theflank. Check out all the other sites that we're on. Go follow at the flank on Twitter. Gert's doing a phenomenal job running socials, of course. Make sure to go check out Stallions.club for the merch. And huge shout out to Micro Center. Obviously, you guys saw the video before the show. We went over to Micro Center. We were able to get a whole bunch of stuff, whole bunch of gear to get us going for the weekend, and they helped us out a ton. If you guys want to check that out, command Micro Center in the chat. Everything will also be in the description down below, the YouTube video. The more ZooMAFIA members we can get to click that link, the better. So make sure to click that link. Any order over $100, man, you get $25 off. If you submit your PC to Microsoft's Build Showcase, you also get another $25 off. Almost at $25,000 off. That would be crazy. $25 off. They're also having a lot of sales over there, man. So they got a lot of product there, especially the Apple products that are for sale. So make sure to go check that out. And then also, if you go over to Micro Center, you can build a PC and bring it home same day. So I thought that was pretty cool. Make sure you guys go check it out. Go to your nearest Micro Center today and go check out everything they got over there. They got keyboards, mouse pads, monitors, PCs, literally anything you can think of, they got it, man. So go check it out. Huge shout out to Micro Center, and thank you guys all so much for tuning in, man. Take care, brush your hair, and I hope you guys have a phenomenal, fantastic rest of your night, man. Take it easy, guys.